to let them know that we're the same. And sometimes when we as adults try to articulate that we are the same. You know, we have the same mannerism. We eat the same. You know, we put on our clothes the same. But somehow or another, people see us as being different. You know, may it be by race, by sex, and it's an overture into the lives of children. What do you think that we as parents, we as adults, I heard you say that that we should be that we should observe more, but other than observing, what information do you think that we should relate to our children so they'll know the difference of being maybe jealous opposed to being a bully?
Well, let me say something first. Say something on that, Betty. My grandson came to me, I think it was right after Christmas, and he was getting dressed for school that morning, and he went to boohoo crying. And I said, well, what's wrong with you? And he said, I don't want to go to school anymore. I said, what do you mean you don't want to go to school anymore? I said, I go to jail, you don't go to school. Okay,
you're out of here.
So he says, the kids are picking on me, they bullying me. And I said, what kids? And he said, if I go tell, they're going to call me a tattletale. And so when you said that, and then I told him, I said, well, I tell you what, I said, I'll go up to the school and I'll talk to the principal. And so when I went to the school to talk to the principal, I began to explain to her what he had said. And I said, well, is there a way, and then I'm going to let you answer what Betty said, is there a way that you can bring these kids together, way that you can chastise them about the bullying, but not let them know that Kennard told me that they were bullying
to protect the person.
So and they did. They had a way. I don't know what, they didn't tell me how they did it, but they did it. They handled it. The teacher, as you said about the little child in kindergarten, the teacher called me back, did a follow-up, called me back, apologizing, saying that they were very sorry, but it has been handled, and that if I see any other signs, please feel free to, to come back to the school again.
Well, it is really important. I think the best thing that we can do is set an example. And I think a lot of times people don't realize what they're doing when they're watching the news or watching a television program or reading the newspaper, and they voice opinions and they stereotype and they put people in certain categories. And kids pick up on that. They hear everything that you say. They may not hear it right, but they heard part of what you said. And I think that's a really good point that you made, because a lot of times when I'm reading in the schools, we had this discussion about the difference between tattletaling or speaking up because someone is being hurt, or to protect yourself.
That's right.
And there is a difference, but it's a real fine line, and it's a hard line for children to learn. What's just me trying to get somebody in trouble, or what's important. Because we went through that with my niece too. My niece was being bothered very badly on the bus, and she didn't want us to say anything because she felt like it would get worse if we did. And we're like, well, if you're removed, if we take you and we drive you to school every day so you don't have to go through that, they're just going to shift that to somebody else. They're not going to stop. So we really have to deal with this, I think, just right here and right now. So that's what we did, was we went to the school, and they actually did a thing about riding the bus for the grade school kids. And a lot of the schools now do have bullying programs. They have a person that actually handles that part of the education, and they do teach a lot about bullying, but there is a lot of fine lines when it comes to bullying.
But it's funny, I was on my way in today to work, and I was listening to one of the radio stations, and this was also, I believe, on the news. I don't know where this happened. It was in another state, and a waitress refused to serve another customer because there was a family with a Down syndrome child, and he began to speak very negatively about the waitress. Heard it, and I don't know whether the child was act out or not. And she went over there and says, "I'm sorry, but I will not wait on you because of the negativity that you have spoken with this family." And they applauded her.
Well, I'm sure.
And
I mean,
see,
it's
because,
really important to stand up.
And this wasn't an adult. Now, and I'm thinking, I don't understand where this comes from. How, I mean, for an adult to do that.
Yeah, that's bad.
You know, so if that's bad, and like you say, it trickles down from there. I don't know whether they had children or not, but they didn't say it. So, and like you said, Betty, it all comes from parenting. But how did we get, I mean, years ago when we were in school, we had bullies, but not to the effect that they have to an extent today. I mean, they have really, it's gone now like an epidemic. And it's nationwide now about bullying.
Yeah,
It is.
it really is. And because back, I remember, like you were saying, Marsha, back when we were going to school, that wasn't a lot of, but then I remember when we got into senior high school, that's when it started to really kind of like doing the turning point to it, way that, you know, kids was doing more fighting and more bullying people, and even to the point that one of our classmates, you know, lost their life, you know, because they were trying to get away from this girl, and she caught the other bus, like you were saying about your niece. She caught the other bus trying to get away, but kids were instigating and say, "You gonna let her, you know, get away like that?" And they pushed her up to go and follow through, and she wind up, you know, losing her life. And not only did she lose her life, but the young lady who took her life
Ruined her life.
Ruined her life. And so, you know, and that's why we as a people got to bring in more love. That's why we've got to embrace love and teach love and teach kindness and gentle and things of that nature, because if we don't, we're just, I mean, we're going to lose our generation.
Yeah, because remember on Facebook, where was that? On Facebook, it was a girl that had her parents put her up there after she killed herself. She had come from another country over, beautiful girl, and they did a documentary on her about bullying, and she went to a school, and she had a young boy there. He was one of the star football players. Began to date her, and she didn't know that he was really going with the other girlfriend. So she was told lies, and the whole school turned against her, and she moved away, and they still turned against her, and she hung herself. And so there's been not only her, but there was you know, several articles now about Bullington and kids that commit suicide because of their bullying. And some kids, like you say, they won't speak out because they're more intimidated, and the parents, they don't know. You know, I mean, their parents really didn't know. She was telling everybody, everything's fine, everything's fine.
Right. Wow. And I think something else that's really important, and you touched on it a little bit, is maybe I'm not the person that's being bullied. Maybe I'm not the bully, but I see it.
Yes.
Can I not stand up?
Yes.
The bully bullies because he has an audience.
Right.
Because
That's
he has
exactly
an
right.
audience.
And two, I believe, Sally, he bullies because he's intimidated at home. So what I see happening, you know, at home, to make me feel empowered, I can go to school and I can find somebody, you know, who feels just like I do, you know, weak, you know, not able to comprehend, you know, don't understand some things. So we find those weaknesses, you know, in people, and then we go after them, you know, either to talk down to them, as you said, you know, to intimidate them. You know, I might be bigger than them, I might be taller than them, they may have a speech impediment. It may be anything, but that least little flaw that's in them, what I'm going to do, I'm going to feel empowered, and so I'm going to bully them because that's how I feel at home. I can't say anything. I can't open my mouth to speak. But in this setting here, I can be the one who who has the power.
Who has the power.
Right.
It's control and power.
Right.
And I'll say this too, and y'all all know this. And hurting people hurt others.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
It hurts us all.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
It does.
Hurting people hurt others. And like you were saying, Betty, so, can you teach love though?
Yeah. You can teach love. You really can. It takes you stepping up to the plate, just as Betty said about, and even you said it, Sally, about they had to learn bullying from somewhere. And if we would start in the home, being kind, being loving, showing love one to another, yeah, you can teach love. You can. You just got to put forth that effort to do it and practice it and do it and make it a part of your daily life. Yeah.
And I think it's real important too to spend a lot of time with children when they're little, reading books that have a meaning, not necessarily my book, but any book that teaches children about being kind to each other, about being different.
Yeah.
I think those type of things are very, very important. And I think it's important to, if you have a household of children, to sit them down and talk to them all together, because they pick on each other all the time.
And another thing that I see too is that when a child is bullied, and later on they become a bullier too.
Sometimes.
See, because like you said, maybe they'll get a little bit taller and everything, and they will become the bullier. But what I like here, Leo and Apollo is the one that sat down with Leo, like you're saying, and discussed all of this. Like, so we're different, but our differences will also add and bring us together.
Absolutely.
See, and that's another thing is, and like you were saying, love and everything, and gentleness and kindness, bring them all together. And you can be taught that. And it starts, like you said, it starts with the home. And if it's not in the home,
that's right,
then take it to the schools where the kids are. So, and that's what you're doing.
Right.
So they can hear, and it's maybe confusing, they can hear what you're saying, oh, this is so good. They go home though, and then they see it, and it's very sad. And so maybe the child could teach the parents.
And that's, I think parents can actually learn a lot through their child, through helping to educate their child. There's a lot of lessons. There isn't any of us, even as adults, that know every single thing in the world.
That's for sure.
And so we all can learn things. And I think when you help children and you teach them things, you've taught yourself something too.
Yeah, and that's so great, Sally. And just thinking as we getting ready to wind down, just thinking that we're getting ready to approach a season of love and of sharing with someone that you love, and when you do motivated to take that time to sit your kids down and your family down and share that love and embrace that love. And I'm so reminded of the greatest love that was ever shared. Yes. And so, when you think about our Savior, when you think about the Lords of Lords and the King of Kings, he exemplified, yes, he is love.
And it's like God is love.
Yes.
And and like you were saying about gentleness and meekness, those are all the fruit of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
So if you don't know Jesus, and you're being bullied, you know what? He knows you, and he knows that he doesn't want you to be bullied. He doesn't want anything. He wants to love you. Know that you are important. I don't care what anybody says to you, what they say nasty to you or anything like that. You are important. You are made special, and the God of love loves you more than anything else. So don't let anybody tell you any different. You are made, you have a purpose, and you are highly loved.
Yes.
Well, Sally, we want to thank you.
Yes.
We want to thank you for bringing Leo and Apollo and Turbo into our lives.
Thank you so much.
And again, go to her website. Her website is authorsallyatucker.com.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's going to write more books, and she's going to have a series of books. And what I like about it, they all have meanings.
Yes.
They're educational, they're fun, and it's a family affair.
Yes.
But anyway, like
that's
we say,
what we are.
Yeah, we are a family affair. Yeah. Go out, be blessed.
Yes.
And like I say, this is a Seasons for Love, and it's not just a season. It's eternal. It's forever. Go out and love somebody today. Be blessed.